Hey everyone, Dr. Shook here. Hope you're doing well today. In today's video, I want to share a quick note with you on high sodium intake and rheumatoid arthritis and really many autoimmune conditions. And the connection here is that high sodium intake can promote an inflammatory response in the body. It can drive an inflammatory pathway called the T helper 17 pathway, which is connected to driving autoimmune processes. Okay, so if you've ever consumed high sodium and your joints ached and hurt more, this could be part of the mechanism. And so there are some things we'll talk about that you can do, obviously reducing your sodium intake, but this is not the only way that salt may cause a problem. The other way that salt can cause a problem is that it may actually lower the amount of lactobacillus bacterial species in your gut. Now, lactobacillus species help to keep the intestinal microbiome, the intestinal barrier system, the intestinal lining healthy. And when these lactobacillus species decrease, you may actually have an environment that promotes increased intestinal permeability or hyperpermeability, where things in the gut can pass through the gut wall too easily, and larger molecules can make their way through the gut lining into the bloodstream, which triggers a systemic inflammatory response. This absolutely can promote autoimmunity. Now, it's normal for your intestinal wall to have some degree of permeability. It is a selectively permeable barrier system. We're talking about your intestinal lining, okay? So it lets things digesting food and the proteins and all of your nutrients pass through into the bloodstream. But if that gut wall becomes damaged, inflamed, it can actually develop increased permeability or hyperpermeability, where larger molecules from inside the gut pass through into the bloodstream before they should be there. And like I said, you have a lot of different types of bacteria. You have some bacteria that are gram negative, and of those bacteria, some of them have lipopolysaccharides in their cell wall, and when they die and go through their normal life cycle, those lipopolysaccharides, which are the cell wall, the bacteria, when they fragment, they can pass through into the bloodstream if the gut barrier is hyperpermeable, creating a metabolic endotoxemia. Now, at the most extreme cases, when that happens, that is sepsis, right? When you have a very strong inflammatory response due to this process, but we're talking about a much more mild degree of this, but it still creates systemic inflammatory responses. So going on a lower sodium diet and even increasing foods that are higher in potassium can be helpful, but check with your doctor. This is not medical advice. If you want a protocol or a dietary strategy